to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So any public comment? Any public? State your name and address for the record.
Hi, yes, Kristen Harmeling, 134 Davis Road, Seymour. I'm a current member of the Board of Education, I believe going on 13 years, and prior to that I was a 2-year member of the Board of Finance. So I'm here tonight to provide some comment on the charter revision report. I did not see the actual report, so I'm still working off of the marked up document, although I did attend last week's meeting, so I think I recall what they decided to vote on or move forward to your board. So my understanding is that what had been labeled Section 8C-1.1 shared services is not included in the report, and I just wanted to express my gratitude for that, if indeed it's not in the report. We just had a really great meeting with Kurt Miller, some of us from the Board of Education with First Selectwoman Drugonis, and from our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Compton. We are committed to shared services, and it felt like such a very detailed thing to have in our charter. So I'm just here to say that as one member of the Board of Ed, we're all in for shared services, but we're glad it hasn't been placed into the charter. I'm really happy to see a combining of Recs and Parks Commission. That was kind of a pain point for lots of us as we were going through with young children, and I know it complicates things even when we're working with the Board of Ed, trying to find space for everyone. Love that we renamed Section 14.3 budget process as opposed to a whole entire section being called annual town meeting. And I'm happy to see the language about returning the budget request forms no later than the third Tuesday of January being removed. However, legal obligations are still required to be submitted to the town by the third Thursday of January, and the commission declined to define legal obligations, and that has always been an area of ambiguity, and it continues to be. It will be in our charter, but it's not been defined. So my recommendation is to remove that language as it pertains to legal obligations before February 1st, and just leave it so we all submit our budget requests on February 1st, which is how we're all used to operating. The part that I have the hardest time with currently as presented to you is all the dates that are currently in the budget process. It makes me really nervous, and I think many of us come to regret micromanaging our budget process to that level of specificity with the dates. As it is now, we do have a few will happen by dates in the charter, and those have always worked well. I know that anxiety gets high when we're entering into a third budget referendum at the beginning of June, but the reality is the longer we wait to do our referendums, the more accurate our numbers are. And the idea of scheduling a vote, the first vote must start on this date in April, and then every 2 weeks after that, really locks us in. It doesn't take into consideration the school calendar. It doesn't take into consideration the ability or inability to open up contracts and try to talk to our unions about, hey, we just failed today. The idea of getting unions to work with us within a less than 2 week period, because it's all got to be done right before you put the ballots out. I just think it's just constraining us in a way that's going to have us beholden to the calendar instead of beholden to a fair, accurate, and thoughtful budget process. So I just don't think that those are needed, although I'm in huge favor of doing the votes on a Tuesday, because we know what Thursday does. Then we go into the weekend, we have the 5 days, nobody can do anything over the weekend, etc. I'm glad to see that the charter will now require that the Board of Ed budget will be an addendum to the town government budget. This has caused a lot of confusion in the past, and it's resulted in people saying that the Board of Ed doesn't do a line item budget, which we absolutely do. It's just they've always been in separate documents. So I'm thrilled that it's going to be an appendix, an appended to the actual budget, which is great. I'm also glad we didn't take away the town meeting. That's an ingrained part of who we are as a town. Although I will share that I was very disappointed that we did not change the nature of the town meeting so that one citizen could not propose the type of cut like the Board of Ed suffered last year. Very glad, and I do hope that you do adopt or recommend for going to the voters the idea that if someone can make a line item cut, they should also be able to make a line item addition. at least that equity is in there. But I'm still very much opposed to having groups of elected and appointed officials work on the budget for 4 months and that being able to be tossed out the window by a majority vote, especially when the quorum was not raised. So 26 people could theoretically take down the police department, or take down the Board of Education, or take down the fire department. Again, we've got that legal obligations word in there. You can't go lower than that, but none of us really know what that word means. And then the last thing, and the ship has sailed, but for future consideration, I was so disappointed that we're not going to introduce the opportunity to combine the school and general government budgets. When that went before our townspeople in 2018, it only lost by 13 or 16. I think it was 16 votes. So the idea that we didn't put it back out there for consideration this time around was a little disappointing. And the last thing I'll comment is that a lot of people have talked about how we can only do this once every 10 years. It's not actually true. You guys can appoint a charter revision commission whenever you want. You just have to do it at least every 10 years. So I think great progress has been made, and I just food for thought on some of the recommendations that I have and some of the things that I wish could have happened that hopefully we don't have to wait for another 8 years or so. So thank you to the committee for all its work it did on the commission, and good luck tonight on your decisions that you make, and I hope the decisions you make pass by the voters. So that's it.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Any other public comment?
Under the charter revision, it comes up on your agenda, I think that's appropriate.
Yes.
Not now.
Correct. Any other public comment? No further public comment. Close public comment. Can I have approval of the minutes from the August 19th regular meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular Board of Select Persons meeting on August 19th.
Motion by Teresa,
Second.
second by Scott. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Discussion and possible action regarding the Frank and Ann Conroy Outstanding Community Service Award and the Roberta M. King Excellence in Government Service Award. Selectman Stanek, I will turn this over to you, and Selectman Bruno.
Thank you, Madam First Selectwoman. The Awards Committee met earlier this evening, and it came up with recommendations for the two awards. The committee is recommending that the nominee for the Frank and Ann Conroy Outstanding Community Service Award be Peter Raza, R-Z-A-S-A, for the record, and that the recipient of the Roberta M. King Excellence in Governmental Service Award be Colleen Fries. I will move the two individuals' names as recommended, that the board award the award to the appropriate award to each.
Motion by Fred,
Second.
second by Al. Discussion?
I want to just say that both of those awardees are perfect for both of these. I think every year we always have someone that's the appropriate recipients. Peter Raza does so much for the environment in this town. He knows every nook and cranny and every forest in this town. I think he's the perfect gentleman to receive this. And he continues to continues to do outreach and education to our town. He's having something coming up next month or this month. And as for Colleen, I think she's shining up there right now receiving this award. Duly deserved, so thank you.
Any other discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
And just for the record,
Thank
the awards will be conferred at the Pumpkins Festival during the morning ceremonies. And Madam First Selectwoman, if you would either give me the contact person of the Pumpkin Festival Association, or if you could contact the person indicating we'd like to do this again.
Absolutely. Stephen, you'll send over that information to Fred. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll also let them know as well.
I think it was appropriate and very well received last year.
It was,
I think it's
yes.
a new, nice tradition now.
Very nice tradition you started.
I would say mentioning the awarding at the Pumpkin Festival.
It's a nice tradition.
Okay.
Item number 6, discussion with the ordinance subcommittee and possible actions. 1, let's take the solicitor's ordinance The solicitor's ordinance, as we discussed in the ordinance subcommittee meeting, was that the police department is putting together and tightening up their solicitor's ordinance, and then it's gonna come to the board of select persons. Actually go to the ordinance committee, then it will go to the board of select persons once we have it there. So this board knows, or maybe the board doesn't know, there's been an onslaught of solicitors, and there have been many phone calls to town hall, regarding people knocking on the doors and how upset they're getting, even on Facebook posts about people rattling the doors. The police department and the town clerks have copies of permits that are filed. The police department makes the company give every solicitor's name who's gonna be out there. They're required to wear a lanyard. They should be respecting the no solicitor sign going forward. The police department is going to tighten it up. They'll submit it to the ordinance committee. We'll look at it, we'll review it with town council, and then we'll pull it forward to the board of selectmen for a vote and to move it forward. Any questions on the solicitor's ordinance? No? Rich? No? Okay. The senior citizens tax incentive, great conversation. Mr. Gregor was here. He gave us some wonderful ideas about what he would like to see helping residents 65 and older with 20 years or more of living in their home. They live here, not an absentee landlord. There's also state statutes that we must follow, put in, so Attorney Bertula is gonna get some information from OPM, he's gonna get information, from legislators' papers for us to talk about, and then we're gonna put it back on our agenda for our October, first meeting, the first meeting in October.
For the board of selectmen or for
Ordinance. Yep. Okay, any questions on the senior tax incentive program? Discussion and possible action regarding the final report from the Charter Revision Commission. We have Tom Gardell. Mr. Gardell is here, sorry. If you can set up to the microphones, because you are on the agenda, so we can have a back and forth.
Tom Gardell at 8 Lantern Drive, and currently the chairman of the Charter Revision Commission. Just as an opening notation is that we, the commission, sent the draft report, the final report sent over to the board. I guess we did that about a week or so ago. Now, just as an opening notation is that some people may not be familiar with what the commission has been doing for 9 months. I think we started in November of last year. Is in fact on November 6, 2024, the Seymour Board of Select Persons, the board, formed the Charter Revision Commission, the commission. After numerous meetings, public hearings, and testimony, the commission submitted its draft report to the board. Thereafter, the board made recommendations to the commission, and on August 19, 2025, the board and commission participate in a joint meeting to discuss the draft report. That was, of course, a joint meeting with the select board and the commission. On August 27, the commission held, in essence, is the final meeting, and during that final meeting, submits to the board the final reports with the final amendments as proposed by the commission, and included there in the red line format. The board would have already received through our attorney, of the commission's attorney, the final report and also the red line version. Just noting that certainly we gave a draft report, and then we had our joint meeting. A lot of good recommendations, and also a notation that throughout our 9-month journey as a commission, we always listen to the people, of course listen to the board. So there were I think our commission had 4 public hearings. I believe that the select board, I think they had 4 also, but there was a lot of time for people to come before the commission and your board. So noting that, from the draft report, there are 4 changes that the commission made at the August 27 meeting. If you haven't had a chance to really look at it, I'm assuming we went through the draft, the final. The only differences between the draft and the final, as we listened, and the 4 areas that were in fact changed from the draft to our final include: 1, there is no longer a recommendation by the Commission for Shared Services. That is now gone. The second area to be noted is that, I'll read exactly, that the proposed amended charter maintains in general the current budget process, with the exception of the addition of provision providing the annual town meeting with the power, and this is the important part that was changed, the power to also increase any proposed appropriation. There was a lot of concern, and we heard what we're saying. In fact, there was a recommendation by one of the select board members to, in fact, have up or down. We listened, and that's a change we're proposing. The other area is, in the proposed charter, modifies the requirement regarding the education and training of the treasurer. Once again, it was a member of the select board that said, and also, generally speaking, there's concerns of, I will say, finding individuals to in fact fill this role. Well, what we did is that in our change, what we recommended is that, and I'll read verbatim, is that from section 12.17, treasurer, there shall be a town treasurer who shall be an administrative appointment of the select person. Now, select person was changed, so that's one of our many changes. For a term of 2 years or until the next town election. The town treasurer shall be experienced in financial field and should have formal accounting education and training, and here is the change, or equivalent at the discretion of the appointing official. We heard there were problems in doing it, so we felt as though any appointing official in this town would certainly be of the ability and capability at their discretion, whoever the appointing official is. And it says appointing official because lots of things change. Maybe the appointing official goes to be somebody else. I don't know. But the appointing at the discretion of the appointing official to make the recommendation. The fourth area, and it was actually a recommendation by a member of the board, the select board that is that in the entire charter, the proposed amended charter changes references from first selectman / first select woman to first select person. There was an individual on the board, we heard, and we made that change. So, and that was a recommendation of a board member, we listened, and that change is in there. That's a summary of what the draft to the final report was. So if you had the opportunity, I know you had the opportunity to read the preliminary report, because I say that because we had a great discussion at our joint meeting. Those are the 4 changes that we've made by listening to the people. Questions of the select board? I don't know if we can have a back and forth or not.
We could have a back and forth because you're on the agenda, so
Okay.
I'll go down the line.
Okay.
I don't have any questions, so I'm pretty clear on what was presented.
Bob?
Yeah, I don't have any questions right this moment.
Questions now.
Fred?
I don't have any questions. Maybe some comments, but no questions.
Teresa?
I do. I see we have the final report here, and it's just the, what are we calling it? It's just a synopsis. It does, we never saw the final draft. I never did, at least.
It was submitted.
I didn't get it.
Submitted at the last Board of Selectmen's meeting.
That was after they met?
That was the final draft.
That was the final draft?
Yeah.
So there's no more after you met last week?
No,
No, you go, talk there.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, okay.
go right ahead.
We met on August 27th and submitted a final report to your board. Redlined, of course, as we thought. And I gave you a summary of, in fact, any changes from the draft, which was back on, August 2nd or something like that.
I don't see that we got anything since August 27th.
I cannot
Anyone else?
comment.
So when they did the red line, what we did at our last Board of Selectmen meeting,
Mhm.
that was their draft report. We went through that and they were having one more meeting. If we accepted the report they had given us, that would have been their final report. But because we wanted changes, remember the whole, we want to get rid of the town meeting vote that was taking place, that was their draft report that they had given us. And then we said, no, we wanna have a final meeting. So that meeting that we had with them, that back and forth that we had when they all sat in front of us, that was their draft report, that joint meeting, thank you. They had the back and forth, and we gave them what we suggested in that meeting last Tuesday. They then went back to their meeting and had their meeting, and that's what this final report came out.
So I'm a little confused because the chairman's saying that there was a draft report that came out recently. Am I missing something here?
Maybe I can clarify.
Sure.
We originally had a draft report,
Right,
and in the draft report, then we had a joint meeting for select and the commission. After that, we listened and we produced what we call a final report. That's it. We're really done as a commission.
right.
And we're gonna disband, whenever the, chair lady disbands us. So we're on until disbanded. We gave the final report, our job is complete, that's it. We have no other meetings that are planned,
Right.
and that's it. We got the final report for the select board to take appropriate actions. Either, I understand, accept in full, or in fact, I will say, accept in full or not accept the change that we made. I do not believe, and I know our council's not here, is, to my knowledge, the select board cannot go in and make any changes and move forward townspeople. Had to come through the commission.
So August 19th, at our board of select persons meeting, August 19th, we went through the chart, we went
Right.
through their report.
I-
That
yeah.
was, that was their final report, but because we had changes, that their final report became their draft report.
Right.
And we gave them our changes at our August 19th meeting. So we did see, that was the draft report that they gave.
Okay, so that was the final draft report back on
No,
August
that was the
19th.
draft report. We're confusing. That was the draft report, now we have the final report. And I notified the 4 areas that were changed from the draft to the final. For the majority, it was by the recommendations of your board.
Okay.
And the
My,
public, of
my,
course.
my only concern was, because this just says it's just a synopsis of it, so I don't have the document to refer right to everything that was changed.
Okay, maybe I can help. There is,
I'm
and this is a
just- and I'm
summary.
just looking
Here's the
because-
draft this is a summary of what the draft
Right.
was.
Okay.
Let's forget about that one right now.
Okay.
It doesn't really exist any longer, because the commission went through and made changes. If you look at, I believe you have a summary there, that's what I was reading from. Does it say?
Final report.
Does it say final report?
Correct.
If you look at the final report, that tells you the whole world.
Okay,
That's it.
okay,
And if you note that on that final report, there are, the last item on there, page 2, if you have 2 pages, 6, entire charter. So if you read that, that
Correct.
tells you our entire life for the past 9 months.
okay. I was just concerned because we have public comment already about dates on the budget process.
That's a fact, we heard and we made no changes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now,
What's that?
no,
No, okay,
that was questions.
okay,
Now we go to comments.
okay.
Comments, we'll start. Scott?
I just have one comment, and, I understand why, you put in the power to increase the appropriations, but I don't think that at the town meeting, that people should have the power to increase or decrease. That should have taken place already in, the, meetings that the, board had coming up to that. And I don't think that that's fair to the finance board to put that out there. It's just my opinion. I'm done.
Bob?
Well, no, yeah, mine was only about increasing the amount of people. If you were gonna have a vote, that number was larger than the number, and I don't hear that.
50%.
Yeah. 50 was just too small of a number, and I guess that wasn't made, any changes were made to that, and I think that's an important piece to this, because that kind of goes along with what you're saying, with respect to, someone can come in and make a recommendation, but it should have to have a volume of people that agree to that recommendation, so. That's all I had.
opinion about that multiple times. For the word increase to come in, I think it's only fair to balance out the language that is currently in there. I agree with Scott that folks really shouldn't have the power to decrease, increase, or leave it the same unless we have a certain quorum at that meeting that is indicative of the town. We had 200 and something people at the last meeting, or whatever, that's not indicative of our town, in my opinion. Anyway, I floated out the idea, other people floated out the idea about the treasurer training and education. Thank you for addressing that. We want to make sure we have qualified people in our small pool, small town moving forward for that job. And the use of the word first select person is appreciated instead of all the first select man, woman, first select person throughout the whole document. It's choppy. And just so all the charter committee members, I think I voiced my gratitude for what you guys took on. I did it under Paul Roy's tenure.
Yeah.
He asked me to be part of it. And unfortunately, most items, including corrections to grammar and other technical changes, didn't pass. So I'm more hopeful for better outcomes this November on what we have moving forward. I think that you guys did a lot of work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I too want to thank your commission for your hard work. As I said at the one meeting that I appeared to discuss 14.3, I think you folks are saints. It's an arduous process to be on the Charter Revision Commission, and you did a very good job. I don't agree with everything you did, but that's okay. That's the deliberative process.
That means we did our job.
You did your
Everyone
job.
doesn't agree with us.
You did your job. I had argued that we should take out the vote at the town meeting, not the vote, because there's a vote at the end. The machine vote, that's the vote of the town meeting. But the preliminary vote to be able to decrease the budget, I argued that that should come out. But I'm glad that you added now that the budget could be increased. If you're going to keep that vote, the budget should be increased. The lack of the increase provision, in my opinion, was a constitutional flaw in the charter, and you've cured that. So thank you for listening and curing that. The town meeting is what's known as an adjourned town meeting. The town meeting that we have is a town meeting where we go to discuss and then we go to a machine vote. And that I think is a little bit of an anomaly in our charter. But it doesn't really follow the statute as far as an adjourned town meeting. We are going to have, I believe, an adjourned town meeting on September 16th with regard to the building of a new, financing a new Bungay school. That meeting will be held so that everyone has a right to discuss the meeting, at the meeting, the proposal to build a new school, whether people are in favor, against, or indifferent, or otherwise comment about the meeting. At the end of that meeting, the moderator will adjourn the meeting to a machine vote. That's the type of town meeting we have. But again, I thank you for the increased provision. Otherwise, I've said what I had to say about other provisions previously, and again, I want to thank you folks for your hard work.
You're very
Thank
welcome. It was 7 people, and I don't happen to be standing here, the chairman, but it was 7 people, not just myself.
And thank you, Chairman Gambardella, for all your hard work. I was very impressed with how you led your meetings. I went to several of them, but you know, sometimes when people got off topic, you brought it back. You were very competent in that role. So hopefully down the road, maybe we can see you sitting in that chairmanship again.
You never know.
You never
Life
know.
changes.
Glad to hear that. So all this hard work, you know, we have questions now that are going to go to the ballot for the townspeople to make up their decisions. You know, we had our input for it. I am glad to see in here that we will be having a multi-year strategic plan that'll be presented to the Board of Select Persons. I hope that will go through on the ballot. And everything else, you know, shared services, I'm glad that was taken out. I'm a firm believer in shared services, but I just don't think it belonged in the charter here. So hopefully come November 4th, our townspeople will get out and support these initiatives. And if they don't, then we know how they feel about them. So thank you again for all your hard work.
As I said at my meetings, let the people decide.
Yep.
They are the bosses.
Right.
But if there's nothing else, I strongly recommend your respected board to approve our final report. We listened to this board, we listened to the people. People called me at home with concerns. Townspeople after our joint meeting caught me out in the hallway with some concerns. Listen to the concerns, and that's why you see some of the changes, and that's why you also, to the flip side, don't see some changes. There were some people very adamant about not changing things, so we'll listen to that too. We did some calculations in our final meeting and said this is the way it should be, and I respectfully ask you approve and send our final report to the people to vote on it. Hopefully they vote this time positively on the grammatical errors, which they did not last time.
Right.
See, let's go.
Don't know why, but
go.
I don't know. Thank you very much. Anything else, I'll go sit down and be quiet.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm glad you came out of retirement from public service.
Well,
You have a distinguished background as a fire commissioner, fireman, and on the Board of Education, and I'm glad you came out of retirement.
well, I did come out of retirement because certainly, Fred, you know why. I became a federal agent.
Yeah, I
And
know.
as a federal agent under the Hatch Act, I could do nothing with the town, so I kind of went dormant. I do some work for the federal government right now by contract. I do some court work for the federal government. Other than that, I'm not bound by the Hatch Act any longer. But I still am a
Thank
federal
you.
agent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, in your packet, you have their final report. We also have the recommended ballot questions on there. Go ahead.
Well, if I may, the board can approve or reject in whole or in part the proposed revisions. I know the chair accurately stated the law that you cannot make changes, you can't modify, amend, or do that sort of thing. It's either up or down. If any portion of the report is approved, all or part of it, the board must set the date for the vote. You have on your agenda, it looks like a presumption for November 4th, 2025, the general election, or a special election to be held within 15 months under state statute. You may have heard this before from my colleague, Mr. Leclerc, but if not, I feel
No, thank you for repeating.
I would like to go through this because this is sort of me. The date for the election, folks, must be set by September 5th. So it's important we do it tonight, okay? And then the Secretary of State has to be notified by September 20th. That's the date. And the publication of the questions by October 2nd. Those are the operative dates that we're dealing with to finish this process that the Charter Revision Commission so diligently started and saw through over their long tenure to get here, and we have to hit these dates. So tonight is important. First thing would be a motion to approve, I take it, or if there are other issues, but you have to, something gets approved, goes to the ballot, then you're going to set the date, and we also have the questions. We have the questions. You should have all received the draft questions, which matches all of the various changes to the charter, and you're in pretty good shape from a procedural standpoint.
Thank you. So in front of you, you have the final report. We can either accept all, reject all, reject some.
Well, I'll start us off with the first
Thank you.
one. I'm a little confused by the second piece, starting and small b for purposes of clarity and to make required submission and meeting dates more specific.
Where is
He's on questions.
Oh, you're on questions? I was on the report.
Oh, sorry. Jeez. The report first. That makes sense.
You do the report first, guys.
We gotta do the report first.
You had me.
Jump the gun.
Thank you.
Scott's got to put his mic on. Scott.
Scott's mic's not on.
It was. Battery probably died again.
He's got one.
There it goes.
We'll see. see if it lasts.
Thank you. Okay. If it doesn't last, Stephen can change them up. Okay, on the report, section 114.3, town budget process. The proposed amended charter maintains, in general, the current budget process with the exception of the addition of a provision providing the annual town meeting with the power to also increase any proposed appropriations. Minor amendments have also been proposed for purpose of clarity and to make required submission and meeting dates more specific. That is, number one of the final report. What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we accept
Thank you.
section 14.3.
Motion by Scott, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Al, discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion moves 6-0. Thank you. Section 15.2, special town meetings. Proposed amended charter provides for increase in the appropriation threshold for a required special town meeting from 100,000 to 150,000.
I'd like to make a motion to approve section 15.2, special town meetings.
Motion by Al,
Second.
second by Bob. Discussion.
I think it makes sense, given inflation and the cost of everything today. $100,000 was in the charter from many, many decades ago.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Section, number 3, section 12.9 and 12.10, Parks Commission and Recreation Commission. The proposed amended charter combines these two commissions for efficiency in operations and services. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. to
Motion
recommend.
by Bob,
Second.
second by Al. Discussion?
I just have a question. When will that take effect? Is there an effect date for that? Do we know?
I would believe if it's
Passage
voted
or-
on,
Once it passes.
Once it
once it
passes?
passes,
That's what I was looking for.
because,
It is not automatic. I can get back to you with the exact date, but from memory, there's also, my recollection is we also have to put after passage, boy, I'm doing this from memory. We may have to put the state library on notice as well as perhaps the Secretary of State upon passage, and then it's so many days. But it, most likely, I'll tell you what I think the most likely date would be in December. Most
Yeah,
likely be the December date.
which would make sense because that's
Yeah.
when they get appointed, so
Yes.
that would make sense, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Steven? Battery's dead. Alright.
They did this the last time too.
4, section 5.2, first select person's specific powers and duties, proposed amended charter adds a new provision requiring the first select person to develop and implement a multi-year strategic plan for presentation to the board of select persons.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Bob Finley,
Second.
second by Al Bruno, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Section 12.17, Treasurer, the proposed amended charter modifies the requirement regarding the education, training, and training of the treasurer.
Make a motion.
Motion by Al Bruno,
Second.
second by, was that Scott?
Yeah.
Scott Andrews, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Number 6, entire charter. The proposed amended charter changes reference the first select man / first select woman to first select person.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Al, second by Teresa. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Okay, so the final report from the Charter Commission has been accepted. Now on to the recommended ballot questions. Question number 1. Shall the town charter be amended, A, to change the current budget process to allow the voters at the annual town meeting to increase any proposed appropriation, and B, for the purpose of clarity, and to make required submissions and meeting dates more specific? I need a motion before we can discuss.
Make a motion.
Motion by Alberto,
Second.
second by Teresa. Discussion.
Like I was saying earlier, I think that second, after the conjunction and small v and parens, I think it gets a little choppy, and I'd like to try to make sure it's a little more transparent. And the other question I had is, why are there two pieces to this one question? Because if somebody agrees with A but not B, they're gonna vote no. So I'm a little confused as to the,
So you think one, it should be, first question should be, shall the town charter be amended to change the current budget process to allow the voters at the annual town meetings to increase any proposed appropriation,
period.
period, B.
And then,
And then 2, B.
shall the town charter be amended for purposes of clarity? I don't know how else, let's take a look at the previous language, let me take a look here. That's in section 14.3. Minor amendments have also been proposed for purposes of clarity, comma, and to make required submission and meeting dates more specific. It's just choppy, it's not really worded all that well. I would say something to the effect of, I'll just spitball it with the group, and we can play with it and wordsmith it a little. Shall the town charter be amended for purposes to clarify required submission of dates of meetings, like, you gotta get a little more, you gotta dig a little bit more.
Okay, how about this?
Yeah,
For the purpose and clarity, and to make required budget submissions and referendum dates more specific.
Yeah, I was gonna get more factual.
Yeah.
Hold on just 1 minute, folks. Let me catch up with you. I want to see something.
I have concerns about A too,
Yeah.
the way A is
the way it's
written.
phrased, yeah.
I think it's more of a modify the current budget process to allow voters at the annual town meeting to increase, decrease, like, so you're so
I
you
agree with you, 'cause
include
it makes it
everything.
sound like you're trying to shove increase down people's throats, and they're not putting
Right.
the other language in.
Correct.
Yeah, you gotta give more
You gotta,
context.
yeah.
Well, I'll give you another thought on that. Shall the town charter be amended to change the budget process to also allow the voters of the annual town meeting to increase any proposed appropriation?
I would even
Along
buy,
with
As well as, or
as,
along
as
with.
well
as well as,
decreasing or keeping it the same, or to,
Well, that's already in your charter,
right,
The
right?
decrease
So your
already mentioned,
change
yeah.
is you're adding the
adding
increase.
increase.
So
So would you
also,
put increase in quotes?
no,
No, that's cool.
no, the meeting, to increase, to also, let's see, allow the voters at the end to also increase any proposed appropriation, period. And then if you wanna have a second question, shall the town charter be amended?
Cause that part B just really doesn't do it, what Anne Marie made a recommendation before.
I
Well-
like what you,
Shall the town charter be amended for the purpose of clarity to make budget submission and referendum dates more specific? And to Kristen's comment about, the school calendar, if we know that our referendum dates are this for the budget, then we can then maybe the schools can work around
You-
the vacation.
You're doing things in this, and I'll defer to the chair of the Charter Revision Commission, you're doing more things than just changing dates.
That's a fact, yes.
Yeah, So I think you need to have, I mean, I know you don't like the language, but you are clarifying the budget process. You've added things, you've made an addendum, you've done different things. It's not just dates.
Right.
So you have
So
to
how
have
do you-
some general language about the budget process in the question.
But you have more meetings, you have meeting dates,
Dates more specific.
more specific.
Well, that's the second part of it, right? Isn't that correct? You've changed you've clarified the budget process and you have made certain dates more specific. That's my understanding of what the actual changes are looking at. So it would seem to me that this language actually captures what they're doing. But I'll defer to the chair a little on this if he could.
Back to the podium, Tom Gardell, 8 Lantern Drive, Seymour, Chairman of Charter Business Commission. To council, yes.
That's what I thought.
We attempt to do to clarify, if you happen to look at our, called the Red Line Report, which you all, I believe, have, you look at all the changes, all the cross-outs that we felt as though as a Charter Revision Commission, it was an opinion coming out, it's a disaster. It was very, you couldn't understand it half the time. So we heard, in fact, we heard from the administration of the town that it's not clear, we don't know what to do next. Our intent was to clarify the process, give some date specifics, so everyone knew where we were going in the town, in the annual town meeting. That was the intent.
For example, just one little example, the quorum requirement was in 2 places in your current charter. So they eliminated it in 1. Okay, so I mean, they did more than just specify dates, and that's why I actually think the question, if you want to make it a separate question,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I agree with that, but I think it actually, and I'll ask the chair, shall the town charter be amended to clarify the budget process and make meeting dates more specific? Does that capture what you actually did?
Could you re-say that again, please?
Yes. Shall the town charter be amended to clarify the budget process and make meeting dates more specific?
I concur with that.
That's what I thought. That captures what they did.
Yeah, because that doesn't capture it right now. It is confusing. Yeah. It should
Well,
be one question.
It's a separate question.
Yeah, definitely.
Make it a separate question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we make that question number 2.
Yes.
And then you renumber as we go down.
Okay,
All right?
okay.
Okay.
All
If
right,
you look
so,
at the budget sections, like the Christmas tree.
Yeah, well, it
There's
was
reds and
terrible.
Greens all over the place because
Yeah.
we tried to clarify.
No, you did. You
And
did.
It took us 2 meetings in order to do this.
It is a very difficult, I've been doing this job now for quite some time. And your annual town meeting provision and the budget process, it was extraordinarily complicated and not altogether clear. And I'll say that as an understatement. And I've had to give opinions on multiple occasions to give meaning to it. So, yeah, I understand everything you just did.
Thank you.
all right, so then it's labeled 2 in here, but it'd be the new number 3. Shall the town charter be amended to increase the appropriation threshold for a required special town meeting from 100,000 to 150,000?
You need a motion on that?
I do, I need motions on all these.
Yeah, no, I'll take a motion on that one.
Bob Finley, motion by Bob, second by Al Bruno, discussion. Okay.
Did you, Madam First Selectwoman, did you take a motion on the first 2 questions?
Oh, we have to add that to make that number 2, right?
Well, you just
All right.
Modifying
yes,
it.
Right,
modifying it. You can move the first question as stated. Shall the town charter be amended? We'll drop the A.
Right.
To change
You
the
said
current
also.
budget process to I'm
Yes.
sorry,
Yeah.
to allow the voters at the annual town meeting to increase.
also increase
Also
any proposed
any proposed
appropriation. Thank
Which
you,
made
Al.
more sense, yep.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Question number 2.
And that is, shall the town charter be amended, we'll drop the B, to clarify the budget process and make meeting dates more specific?
All in favor? Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries.
Who made that motion?
We gotta make a
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry,
No,
Bob.
that's where I was gonna say, that
Yeah,
was
Bob.
a motion.
Motion made the motion, Al seconded, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0, sorry guys. Number 3, shall the town charter be amended to increase the appropriation thresholds required a special town meeting from 100,000 to 150,000?
I made the motion.
And a
Motion
second.
by Bob Finley, second by Al Bruno, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. New question 4, shall the town charter be amended to combine the Parks Commission and the Recreation Commission for efficiency of operations and services?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Bob, second by Al, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. New question number 5. Shall the town charter be amended by adding a new provision requiring the first select person to develop and implement a multi-year strategic plan for presentation to the Board of Select Persons?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Bob Finley, second by Al Bruno. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. New question number 6. Shall the town charter be amended to modify the requirements regarding the education and training of a treasurer?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Bob Finley, second by Al Bruno. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Question number 7. Shall the town charter be amended to change the reference from first select man / first select woman to first select person?
So moved.
Motion by Al Bruno,
Second.
second by Scott Andrews. Discussion?
If I may,
Yes.
the present charter references Board of Selectmen. We had changed the reference to Board of Selectmen to Board of Select Persons by ordinance. Should not, we also have a question changing the reference of Board of Selectmen to Board of Select Persons.
That now becomes a difficult issue, because I don't believe that was done in the final report,
It was not done in the final
so
report.
we can't do that. Unfortunately. Oops, that's a whoops moment, yes.
Oops.
Save something for next time.
For next time.
Same for next time.
Save it for next time.
That's
Okay.
right.
Thank you. Fred? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. New question number 8. Shall the town charter be amended to correct grammar, spelling, terminology, statutory references, outdated provisions of the town charter, renumber section, and make other and technical changes as recommended by the Charter Revision Commission?
So moved.
Motion by Al Bruno,
Second.
second by Bob Finley. Discussion?
If I may,
I would say,
I'll yield to you.
sure.
Yes, go
That's
ahead.
quick. I would just take out the prepositional phrase of the town charter, cause it's redundant. That's the only correction I would
Shall
make
the
to it.
town charter be amended to correct grammar, spelling, terminologies,
It's unnecessary,
outdated provisions?
comma. Just take out of the town charter,
You could do that.
just take out that prepositional phrase.
Yep.
Not needed. Thanks, Fred.
Renumber sections and make, yeah, that works.
If I may, can we capture the Board of Select Persons under the language outdated provisions? I mean, the use of select man or select men is outdated.
We'll save that for an opinion to be given at a later date after passage.
Okay?
It would arguably fall within that.
Okay.
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 Any other discussion? No further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Great.
So what I will do is reform this so that we can keep this tight time frame that we have in order to keep this train on the track. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I
Can
just
I get a, no,
I just wanted to
I
make sure,
yield.
Leanna, do you need that, you need that from Rich, right, to make sure you can capture it in the minutes so we have it correct? Yeah, that's all, I just wanted to make sure we cross.
I know how to find Leanna.
We all do.
Got you back, Leanna. Alright, sorry.
oh, just, can I get a final
Yes.
copy? I mean, Kurt and I communicate,
Yes.
so through Kurt,
Yes.
Kurt can send me the final copy, so that
Yes.
I'm aware of what is going out to the people.
Yep.
So I can put my signs up, go
I'm
around,
sure
around,
he'll
go,
give me
so.
your email address.
He has my email, we've
Yeah,
communicated.
yes.
As charter
Yeah.
revision.
I'm sure you have with Brian.
Brian also, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
three of us
so
have
I must have it.
communicated
Yeah, I'll find it.
through this journey.
Yep.
No. I'll walk until-
Anything else for the select people?
No,
You have to say-
thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item number 9, thank you.
This is equally important
running.
after.
Discussion and possible action regarding setting the vote for potential charter changes for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. at the polling locations. Just remind everybody, polling locations are Community Center, Chatfield School, I was getting there, and Bungee School. Bungee, not Bungay. It's Bungee.
Okay.
According to Edstrom,
No, according to Google.
not
Right.
according to the town.
According to
Really?
Google.
Does it say that?
Look it up.
Is that a Stromello rule? Did you
Nope,
put that
I
wiki
Googled it.
comment?
Here's wiki,
See,
here's
like
wiki
his footnote,
Phil's.
is it Ed
No,
Stromello, Seymour?
no, I Googled it.
Zoyce.
It's not Zoe's?
Zoyce.
Zeus.
Zoyce, it's not Zoe's.
All right. Can I
that
have a
true?
motion?
So moved.
Somebody better.
Motion
I'll
by Al
second the
Verno,
motion.
Second.
second by Bob Finley. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Okay, there are no transfers. Appointments. There are appointments. Joelle Anderson, Seymour Beautification Commission. She is replacing Rick Bednar. It's an appointment for 1 year until April 2026.
So moved.
Motion by Al, second by Scott Andrews. Discussion, all in favor?
I was just gonna say, Joelle owns Dragonflies, if
Yes, she
anyone is not aware of that, so I think she'll be a great addition to this commission.
Marietta Sabetta,
I'll take the vote.
oh, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Marietta Sabetta, Conservation Commissioner, replacing, she can't be replacing Rick Bednar, cause Rick Bednar's replaced.
No, it is two different
He
committees.
has two different
Oh, that's
committees.
right, thank you, sorry. Rick Bednar, appointment 4 years until carries out his term until 4/2028.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Al, second by Teresa. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 6-0. Colleen Tupin, Affordable Housing Committee, she's replacing Jean Chapman. It's an appointment for 2 years, 12/20/25.
So moved.
That's not 2 years.
No,
No.
she's finishing out her term.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh, okay. So moved.
Motion by Al,
Second.
second by Teresa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Tax refunds and abatements in your file, you'll find the tax refund and abatement from, who did this one? Christina Swanson.
Motion to accept
Second.
as presented.
A motion by Bob, second by Al, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Correspondences. In your file, you'll find a letter from Rick Bednar, removing himself from the board. It's also a media, for the special town meeting for October 9th for the Board of Education, for the Bungay School, sorry, not the Board of Education, my apologies.
I'm sorry, through you, Madam First Selectman. Attorney Ritter is asking that you all sign the official copy of the warrant. So before you go, please
Sign in blue ink, please.
We do it now.
sign that and pass it around, and then we'll track down the select woman, Danielle,
Okay,
and get her to sign it.
she's on vacation.
Yeah, she's-
Blue ink, there you go.
Blue ink, Teresa.
Is that blue ink?
It's an attorney thing.
Oh, okay. Official, huh?
It's a judge thing also.
Yeah. Judge Patrol.
Oh, I
right.
signed those.
In your packet, as they're signing that to go around, is the, warning of the town meeting, special, referendum on October 9th for the Bungay School referendum. So it has been published. Okay. Also, a memo from the Blight Enforcement officers, going through that. Open space in Seymour, we received our open space report from the Naugatuck Valley Commission. Some quick stats, the open space, total open space acreage gives us, the percentage of total open space, our percentages, we're at 22%, total number of open space properties, 254. Protected open space and our partial sizes. So it's really nice report that the Naugatuck Valley Council of Government put
Can I
out.
just ask a question on that?
Sure.
This green here that says state, what's that land? I'm confused on that.
State property.
Yeah, yeah, but what is it? Do we know that person?
If I
Do
may,
I know what that state property is?
I mean, is the orange part Little Loreline Park?
It's municipal property is orange.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I just didn't know that big green is,
if I may, there's quite a number of acres on Holbrook Road.
Yeah. That could be Holbrook Road, that's all state property.
That is state property.
okay,
Yeah.
that's still state. Yep, right,
Yep.
On the
Wow.
right-hand side as you're
Yeah.
kinda going up.
wow, they own a lot there, okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of that, thank you.
Yeah, there's like 2,146 acres
Yeah,
of
but they
open
have-
space.
A lot of hiking in there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Protected space, there's 1,863. 19% of that is protected. Straight from the, oh, I gotta sign this. Then also, that was about it, that's all we have, right? That's all we have. Okay, that's for that. Yeah, I can sign last, that's fine, there we go. Okay, public comment, okay.
Kristen Harmeling, 134 Davis Road. I wanted to thank you for what seemed like a general consensus that if you had your druthers, we would not allow an increase or a decrease to happen at the annual town meeting. So since that will be going to vote by the people, well, I certainly hope it does pass, because at least it does create a more equal state of being when you can decrease and increase. But I would really ask for you guys to help us, because it's very unlikely that the town would suffer the kind of hit that the Board of Ed suffered last year. $750,000, to think about that being able to happen every year is just like devastating. We can't figure that out within 2 weeks. We've never ever given you guys a budget that we can say, yeah, you're right, 750,000, we'll just put off a few new initiatives. So we just really ask for your help and be vocal and try to explain to the townspeople why, no, let's have more discussion at that annual town meeting. I mean, I for one will come prepared to that town meeting about why a $750,000 cut or a $40,000 cut or an $80,000 cut, why it just doesn't work. Just let it go to the vote of the people. And then also, I would also ask for your help in explaining to the townspeople why we can't always turn around a revised budget in 2 weeks. There are so many interconnected parts of our Board of Education budget that to say we're going to cut one line item here has trickle-down effects on all the other line items. And sometimes it just doesn't make sense for us to try to do all that rejiggering when we don't even have solid, firm numbers, whether it's from, health insurance or whatever. So just ask for help in explaining to people why we didn't put out an immediate budget that took off, 300,000 or whatever the Board of Finance decides to cut us. So that was my concern in the speed and the every 2 week thing. Sometimes we just can't move that fast. So just support and being vocal and trying to help people understand that would be appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you.
Debbie Alterio, 37 Cold Spring Drive, Oxford. I'm here to talk about Holy's Pond. Last week, first off, if I use the word you, it's referring to the board. It's not any one person. I don't want anybody to think I'm blaming anybody. Last week, Anne Marie, you said that was going to possibly be a 1 to 2 book charge during the end of the meeting. Why is it even being entertained? First off, the state is never going to go for 1 to 2 feet. When Chris Edwards told you from the beginning that storm dumped 4. There's an old saying that don't repeat my mistakes. The waters have been tested for you. These waters have been tested 30 years ago, and it was, I swear to God, this is a replay of 30 years ago. The things that I'm hearing coming out of boards and people, it worked. Even though it wasn't right, it worked. And the last dredge gave you 30 years. 1 to 2 feet. What are you talking? Another year or two? You possibly have an apartment building going in across from the pond, dumping water in from Oxford underneath 67. You have the Quarry Walk. You have the property that's across from Oxford Paint and Hardware. I don't know what the name of the new company is. All that water's going someplace, and it's going into Hoadley's Pond. And I'm not a complainer to just one board. I'm an equal opportunity complainer. It's nothing that I haven't said to Oxford that I'm saying to you. This has got to get straightened out, because right now, what do the people of Woodside Avenue have? They have a swamp in their, whether it's their front yard or their backyard. The responsibility of the town is to protect your infrastructure, to protect your residents. By letting that pond go the way it's going right now, Mr. Finley probably would know the answer to the question, how much would it cost the town of Seymour if that pond refloods and undermines that road and compromises your septic, or your sewer, I'm sorry. How much would it cost? If you spend the money now, before something happens, you don't wait 1 to 2 feet. It's not even a Band-Aid. That's not even a Band-Aid. And me as an Oxford taxpayer, and as part of Oxford, I would tell Oxford, don't even bother. Don't even bother, because it's only going to be worse. As soon as Aquarian hits the well, and the proof is in the pudding, go up there right now. As soon as Aquarian hits your wells, those wells up there, the pond goes down. You're down to nothing right now. It's blight. Where does the town of Seymour, where can those residents go to put a blight complaint in? The other thing is what if that pond floods again? You know about it, and it's not being addressed in the right way, because obviously it's been a year and nothing's been done. Nothing has been done. I've talked to our representative. I caught him off guard, and he's speaking with your representative now. But get engineers in. There's ways to eliminate some of the cost in that. Get a Manafort in there with their engineers. They could come in and tell you, do this, do that. Well, you might be able to save. I mean, Silvermine was built on some of that, of Hoadley's Pond. It was brought up there years ago into some of the properties, and it was used for fill. It was the most richest topsoil around. There was a boatload of money there. There's ways that you could build land and you don't have to tear it down. And this is a serious situation, because if this happens again, it's going to be like a pothole. You know about it now, and you don't do anything about it. You're putting the town at risk. Something's got to be done, and somebody's got to take it seriously. you know, like I said, I'm in it for Oxford, and I will help my fellow residents in Seymour. But enough is enough. The two towns need to come together, and they need to come up with a solution. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? No other public comment, we'll go to select person's public comment. Scott, we'll start with you.
I have two things. The first one, I want to congratulate Jay Uliano on his promotion to commander at the police department. I've known Jay for a few years now, and I think that he will be a very positive asset in the administration of the police department. And the other thing is, I'd like to offer praise to the Public Works Department for the paving that they've been doing in specific spots throughout the town. Most notably is at the bottom of the exit ramp on Wakely Street. That had been a terrible washboard for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that there's 5 or 6 different areas in town where they've hit. And I just want to offer some congratulations for getting some of this stuff done, and hopefully it'll continue. And even if it is only very spotty, it'll improve certain areas in the town.
Thank you. Bob?
I don't have any comment tonight.
Okay. Al?
I just want to again thank the Charter Revision Commission. They did a great job. We had some good debate, some give and take at our joint meeting, and I'm glad that they took our recommendations into consideration. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the work they've done. I also liked our debate that we've had. It's been very professional, congenial debate back and forth on our board, within our board. I viewed it with other town boards. So that's something that I'm proud of as an elected official in this town, that we can debate, nothing's held personally or taken personally, and we move on and we do our thing. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Brad?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like to emphasize the fact that on October 16th, September 16th, we will have the town meeting with regard to the appropriation of funding for the new Bungie School, what I call Bungie School 2. And I urge people, once again, to come out and support the new Bungie School construction and financing. And then we will have the adjourned town meeting, the actual vote on October 9th. So I don't want anyone to think that because we have a session on September 16th and no vote, that the people do not have a vote. Everyone has a vote on October 9th. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to wish everybody a great new school year. Hopefully it'll be a very productive one. With that, I have a couple of concerns on speeding. People have talked to me about speeding on Skokerat Street and Maple Street. We are back in school session now, but they are flying by. So if we can ask the police to have a little bit more presence on those two, at least those two streets. I'm sure it's happening all over the place. And I just had a question. I saw a position posted for a housing ordinance enforcement officer. Is that a new position, or is that somebody that we already have in a role? I don't know what that housing enforcement person is.
So that is coming out of land use, and that is for the from an environmental. You know, it's really taking the blight position one step further into the housing to make sure that their housing. We're getting a lot of complaints from residents that are renting about housing conditions, and our fire marshals can go in 3-family and more, and on 2 families. There's no one really there to go in and inspect to ensure the electrical is okay, water is okay, and lead paint and such. So that is what that position, it's.
Do we need a full-time person to do that? And the second follow-up question I'm just gonna have on that is, if these, property owners, landlords aren't doing it, are they being fined so that this whole salary isn't coming out of our town budget and it can be supplemented by fines that they have to pay? We're finding that on them?
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, the way it's looking is the position The way it's looking, yeah, the position will be budget neutral,
Okay.
based on just the production that we've seen from a part-time capacity. I mean, you've all met Mr. McKenzie, so it's based on
Right.
the work that he's done, not saying that he's getting the position, but it's based on that. And what we looked at is taking his position that was part-time, making it full-time, and the positive benefits that it would have on the community. Jim Baldwin, who runs code enforcement, also wanted to add some of these other job functions in, along with Tim Willis, that would supplement both offices. And as, you know, the first selectman said, kind of improve safety, work on some environmental issues, things like that. But we anticipate this to be 100% budget neutral.
Okay.
And when we say environmental, we mean environmental from making sure the apartment is safe from an environmental standpoint, not environmental as in, DUP, oil, leak,
Yeah, thank you
Right.
for, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I used the word
Yeah,
wrong.
no,
You did.
I've seen these
Environmental
properties.
from a health standpoint, because we, over the last, I would say 3 months, I've had at least 6 tenants in here.
Okay,
So yes,
that's it.
is that it? Great. Okay, so on my end, to Deb, I'm glad you brought that up. When we say 1 to 2, we have engineers out there looking at it. Lorero is out there looking at Holy's Pond. In speaking to the water companies, they do not use that water for their wells any longer. But they don't want to give it up yet. So we do have engineer firms looking out there to give us a quote how much. When we say the first 1 to 2 feet, that's going to be the good topsoil, because as you have the emulsification is below. So when we say 1 to 2 feet, we could take that out. That's going to be the good topsoil we can use. Anything below the 2 feet, it's looking like that's probably most likely going to have to be going out as a waste of some sort. So we are looking at going to bonding. We are looking at grants to see how we can get that bridge taken care of, because we know Hoadley's Pond is something that needs to be done. Whether the town of Seymour does it on its own, or we go in with the town of Oxford, that is to be seen, but that does need to be taken care of. That as well as Swan Pond on the other side. That is the water company's property. Want to say yes, we are back to school. What a great beginning of the first day of school. It was great seeing all the kids. Remember, buses are out there, and so are the garbage trucks, so please leave in time. Don't pass the buses, and there is enforcement going on Maple Street and Skokoret, as well as Oxford and Bungee Road. I'm glad on the not the Board of Education, sorry, on the budget workshops, that, we have people that can go to the budget workshops, but it's important to have at that budget meeting, we do have the elected officials, the finance board, and, everybody that puts these budgets together. But it's important to also, if a resident wants to increase or a resident wants to decrease a line, I should say decrease a line first, it's important for someone to sit there and say, well, I want to decrease this line $10,000. It's important for a department head who will be at that meeting to answer, this is what decreasing it will do to us. And by having this meeting with all the department heads there and the Board of Ed, since the Board of Ed is not a department, but another section of our budget, an addendum to our budget, they're there to answer the question, if you cut us $50,000, this is what it's going to do. So I think it's important to have that aspect of that budget part in there, that we can answer the questions, we can have the back and forth, because the Board of Finance may not know what cutting it would do, because they're not working that budget, they're not in that department head seat, they're not on the Board of Ed, they don't understand what it is. That's why I think that part's important for us to be able to have that yes and no going back and forth, the answering of the questions, but also the people still having their voices heard. That's all I have to say. I hope everybody has had a good Labor Day weekend, and with that, I adjourn the meeting.